He don't let it care. He don't let it care. Can you imagine? In secret memo, AGF Malami asks Buhari to suspend Nigerian constitution and declare martial law. Like seriously? President Muhammad Buhari is in the process of declaring a state of emergency across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People's Gazette can report based on a secret memo and official accounts as the administration scrambles to waggle its way out of acute insecurity and encumbrances of constitutional provisions. Attorney General Abubakar Malami has already written lengthy legal advice to the Nigerian president, urging him to move swiftly to suspend the fundamental rights of all Nigerians and guaranteed under chapter 4 of the Constitution. In the 8-page secret memo dated May 4, 2021, Mr. Malami told Mr. Buhari that insecurity across Nigeria has reached a level that could no longer be checked by existing democratic techniques, saying only a state of emergency promulgated by the president can help return the country to tranquility. The essence of declaration is to allow for suspension of constitutional and legal bureaucratic bottlenecks pertaining to matters of national security with particular regards to fundamental rights guaranteed under Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution and processes and procedures relating to procurement, among others, the Attorney General said. Mr. Malami said the president should issue instruments of emergency and publish them in the Federal Gazette. Senate President Ahmad Lawal and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila will be informed about the decision ahead of implementation, he added. To douse probable legal tension, it is important for the proclamation instruments of the statement of emergency to expressly provide the suspension of Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution and its attendant enforcement rules. Mr. Malami wrote, the suspension of rights pertaining to matters of national security when we then give legal backing for the proclamation of the statement of emergency to be operational and effective without litigious or judicial distractions. In the early pages of the document, Mr. Malami cited widespread acts of insecurity and blamed prominent separatist agitators like Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu for fueling the protracted crisis that has enveloped the country and aggravated the social and economic conditions of Nigerians. The memo was endorsed to the president by National Security Advisor Babagana Mugunu, and administration officials are divided on how to proceed with the advice. Clearly, different factions of our government have different positions on the alarming proposal, a presidency official told the Gazette. But everyone agrees that the AGF holds powerful sway over the president, and it would be a miracle if the constitution is not suspended as he recommended. Another official also within the presidency who confirmed hearing about the memo but had not seen it before they were reached by the Gazette said Mr. Buhari might have little resistance considering the potency of Mr. Malami's arguments. The president is just saying they should act in the best interest of the country, the official said, even as the president seems to have given up on his own ability to get the AGF to back down. Multiple constitutional scholars and practitioners who analyzed the memo for the Gazette said it was essentially a suspension of the Nigerian Constitution and declaration of martial law, since Chapter 4 dealt with fundamental human rights, absence of which there cannot be a democratic system. The analyst acknowledged the powers of the president to issue a state of emergency under Section 305 of the Constitution, but said the powers are doing what? Okay, like I said, it has let it care. Okay. He has the powers of the president to issue a state of emergency under Section 305 of the Constitution, but said the powers are not absolute and do not include outright suspension of Chapter 4, while Section 305 said the president can declare a national emergency to curb criminalities, It did not expressly permit suspension of Chapter 4, which analysts described as the most important section of the Constitution. The rights to life and other crucial rights of modern society will be suspended under Mr. Malami's proposal. You can imagine. Under Malami's proposal, Mr. Buhari has been conflicted over widespread chaos and threatens to define his 8-year leadership as a democratically elected leader. His administration is the fourth since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, following years of military dictatorship, whereas it touted its military bona fides as a plus for its fitness for a national beset by insecurity. The country has seen no changes in security challenges under Mr. Buhari. Since 2015, thousands of Nigerians have been killed by armed bandits, Kilani S-men, kidnappers, and even security agents. Millions of citizens are already racked by economic hardship, which analysts blame on the administration's rudderless policies. In his argument, Mr. Malami alerted the president to the dangers of allowing the situation to go on unchecked, saying it would wreak even more devastating chaos compared to the current level of disorder. But the prevailing state of security in Nigeria can be addressed under the existing constitutional framework, legal analyst Abdul Mahmood told the Gazette on Wednesday evening. The AGF's position is nonsensical. Mr. Mahmood said they have their own sinister agenda and are trying to come under suspension of the constitution to actualize it. Mr. Mahmood said he was incensed by Mr. Malami's suggestion to the president, saying it was unbefitting of his position as Attorney General of the Federation. If the Attorney General, who ought to be the chief protector of our Constitution, is suggesting the need to suspend Chapter 4 of the Constitution, then it is clearly an attempt to plunge the country into further crisis, he said. There's no part of the Constitution, including Section 305, that contemplated the suspension of Chapter 4, which essentially is the suspension of the Constitution itself, the legal expert said. Okay? Of course, I'm sure you guys should know what has been happening. You know that even while Buhari was trying to talk about a civil war, now to deal with those who are stubborn, making Nigerians uncomfortable, because he's always mentioning secessionists. You know, he said, oh, because of INEC, the way it was burnt and what have you, that so that it won't be as if they don't want to, you know, for him to make that statement that so that it won't be as if he wants to go for third term, that speaks volume. That's rang in my mouth. Say, why are you talking like this? You can imagine and see what the position of Malami when it came to the issue of the Asaba declaration. You see what he was even quoting back and forth and telling that people must move, not including the animal. See what the way he was doing. Those who are talking about Islamization and whatever, they are just looking at everything, because the only people they know that now they can wage war against them, they are the Biafrans and the Oduduwa that are coming up. And that's why you see that their names are always mentioned every now and then. Where they will continue to make mistakes until it is over, the grace of God has departed from them. Malami and his gang will push the old man to a point of no return. This group of Nigerians are number one enemy of the country. They need to go and examine the brain of the Malami. Look, their secret agenda will backfire and they will be consumed. And who will lead the country? An army general or a sole administrator? Good question, because under emergency, all constituted authority will be suspended. There is no constitution perfect in the world. Can you imagine this one talking about that? So they should not do what? Cowbrain, who is comparing? Are we not supposed to discuss what is good for our country? Well, the martial law is only to Southeast, but God will save us. By all standard and antecedent, it is obvious that Malami is a bunch of dollars that has nothing tangible to offer the country. You see why Muhammadu Buhari overlooked many senior military men to pick up junior northern Muslim man as chief security of the soldier. Yeah, the smell. When the wicked rules, the people mourn. Selfish governments have made Nigerians open their eyes and more stubborn to protect themselves. Hello, God of vengeance will surely caught up with them. God is about to deal with the pharaoh that are holding the masses in bondage, and their disgrace will be a great one. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on this.